Shalom. Welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar. We have a very, very special guest with us, Mr. Dan McCoy, who's the county executive of Albany County. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And of course, I always have my co-host, Marc Gronich, and he is the statewide news service and also has his own website, jbiztechvalley.com. Get that down. That's a brand new Jewish business.
And that's where you can also get all the news Jews can use.
All right. That's a good pitch. All right. Well, this is the second time we have Mr. McCoy, and we always like to know what's happening in the Albany County where we all live. So, Marc, maybe you have some good deep questions.
It's like a Burns and Allen thing. You say, when George Burns would say to Gracie Allen, tell me about your Uncle Harry, and then 30 minutes later, George Burns would say, thank you very much, say goodnight, Gracie. So hopefully we can have an interaction, but, it's great
Absolutely.
to see. It's great to see you, Dan. And
this is actually very, very special. I always say very special because every time we're on TV is very special. This is our inaugural TV show. We have one, of course, in Bethlehem, but it's the first time we are having one in Albany, so therefore I think it's only fitting that we have the Albany County Executive for our inaugural TV show.
I'm honored again, Rabbi, as always.
Yeah, thanks for coming and making time in your schedule for this. So, how are you adjusting to the job? Do you like this enough where you want to continue, and where you had enough and it's like, okay, let's get out of this?
It's been challenging. It's been a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now, actually, and it's been rewarding also, too. There's a lot of good things. And when I took on being county executive, I took on a $17 million structural deficit going forward. Taxes were getting outrageous. We need to do things differently. So that's a challenge that I like. Our reserves were down to like 15 million. So things weren't looking good. And I go, we can only go up, I hope, right? So, with all that in front of me, people are like, why do you want to run? And some people are like, why? You ran unopposed. Mm-hmm. I ran unopposed because no one wanted the job, because it was a tough job, but it's been rewarding in a lot of ways. I mean, the workforce in Albany County is unbelievable. They're second to none. They do a great job day in, day out. But thinking outside the box and doing things differently, and that's why I say when I became county executive in my first state of the county, I said, things are going to be different. The way you see county government today is not the way you're going to see it in the future. And I think in the short year and a half, we've changed a lot of things for the good.
Mm-hmm. So you have less of a structural deficit or no structural deficit?
We actually, there's two ways they pay off a structural deficit. Obviously, a one-shot property tax increase, or by truly finding savings in the budget and paying that off. We're down, we got it from 17 million, we got it down to 13 million last year. This year, we're looking anywhere between 9.9 and 10.9. Mm-hmm. So we're slowly getting there. But my first year in office, we found over $4 million in savings. So instead of spending it foolishly, we put it into our deficit. I'm trying to address our long-term bonds issues, trying to look at our bonds right now. People are like, our budget's anywhere from 560 million to 600 million, and it fluctuates. Yeah. And but our debt service is about 271 million. And one of the things I promised my constituents when I got elected, I said, look, I'm not going to kick the can down the road anymore. We really need to address these issues, not just for my children, for everyone's children, or people that live in Albany County that live here because it's a beautiful place to raise a family. It's a beautiful place to work. It's a beautiful place to live. And I go, so we have to address our issues now, and that's what I've been doing since day one.
So when you, now along with the structural deficits and downsizing government, you haven't been able to meet the 2% property cap. Right?
Correct.
So that's something that will eventually happen once the structural deficit gets more manageable.
Correct. I mean, well, there's a lot of variables, and some of it is people don't understand. We have 43 unfunded mandates that the state of New York hands down to us from the Senate and Assembly. They pass these great programs, but they don't give us the money to pay for them. They say, this is law now. Mm-hmm. We don't care how you pay for it, but you got to pay for it. So these are things we can't control. And one of the things I took the I took the county executive's office on the road last year, and I did State of the County through anyone that would listen to me. But yes, you did. And I want to explain to people what services we provide first and foremost, but I also want to let them know why it's been tough to live within a 2% cap. Because when they passed the 2% cap, the relief did not come with it initially. There's some relief there. The governor's been doing a great job where he can to give us the relief, but we need more, when it comes to unfunded mandates. Cap them at 2%, and I guarantee we can get there quicker. But that's not an excuse. I find the challenge of trying to make it all work. So when I took the show on the road, so to speak, and really brought it to the people, it was great. It was informative for me. It was informative for them to let them know what's going on. So this year I did it again, but this year I just said, look, it's more of a listening tour. I'm not going to babble a bunch of numbers, and I'm not going to tell you I'll tell you, hey, we're coming out. We're climbing out of there. Things are starting to look good. We're doing things differently in county government. We've consolidated. We've done partnerships left and right. It's really worked. I've been really working with Sheriff Apple and District Attorney David Soares on a bunch of ventures that we'll get into. So I explained to him, look, we're getting there, and things are only getting better.
Well, the couple of times I heard you on the road, you were well received.
Yes,
and there were more of the town and village folks who were like, at least the elected officials, who were just like, wow, that they really didn't seem to know the whole story.
They really didn't. My first year out there, people were like, well, you collect our taxes. What do we get in return?
Yeah.
So I said, and I said, I learned a lot too. And I said, you know what, when I go back next year, I'm going to explain to them what services we give to their town or village. And I did that. And most of them were happy that I came because county executives never come to their former government and spoke to the people and just basically said, hey, this is our budget. These are the good things we're doing. But I always say to people, I always end it, I go, look, I work for you. So at the end of the day, what do you want? What do you want out of county government? One of the things we did differently this year with the budget, we put on our website, people could take a survey. They could tell us where they want their money to go, what programs they like to see increase or things they want to decrease. It was a great response.
Is it still up? Can you still do that?
I believe.
Because I missed that memo.
I think it came down today, but
really?
But we had a lot of people participate in it, which was awesome. And talking about our website, I think it was the most. It was the first website that ever came out.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I want to talk about transparency, open government. So I'm launching a new website. It'll be the first on your show here that it will be, by the time this airs, it will be up and running. And it's going to be like you got see-through New York. This is going to be see-through Albany County.
Wow.
And you're going to see what salaries, where the budget's spent, where our CAD money goes. It's going to be out there so people can and I simplified the budget last year too. I broke it up where it makes more sense reading. And that's the same thing we did with the website. I said, I want the average citizen to be able to go on the website and saying, this is where my money's going into education or road safety for road patrol with the sheriff's or the district attorney's office or my office. This is how we're spending your tax dollars. Because at the end of the day, I work for you and I'm accountable to the people.
Let me ask you something. Nanotech, they always says a big boon for the area. What does that do really for, the government, Albany County? There's taxes or there's anything something positive? I mean, it's positive that good people are moving in and the unemployment rate's going down, but...
The good thing, I'll say this, Dr. K, I'm not even going to try to say his last name. Can't think of. He's a great guy, and the energy that man has is incredible. And what he has done with the Nano school up there, and breaking away now, they're their own, obviously, university, which is awesome for them. But what they have done for the area, and people talk about taxes, and I get it. You want to see the taxes because you're like, there's another piece of property, but you got to look at what it brings, the companies. He has companies not just from across the state of New York, from this great nation and around this world, that are at the point now they're breaking out of there, and they're going to start their companies here locally. And the amount of people that come to that school now, they're living here in Albany County, they're shopping here in Albany County, so they're adding to our sales tax. And then in Albany County, we generate taxes two ways, property taxes primarily, and sales tax, and there's other taxes, motor vehicle and marriage license and stuff like that. But it really does add. When these businesses come, you have to look, sometimes it's hard to tell people, you have to look past the part that they're not paying property tax or county tax, but you have to look at what it's bringing to our area. It brought the president here twice. When President Obama comes here and visits and highlights what's going on with that project, and now that The Science High School is moving its campus to over Albany. That's going to be up and running. And they moved the Children's Museum there. These things attract people, visitors, to come see this stuff. And when they come here, they might have to pump their gas down the street. They might have to buy something to drink. It does add to our economy.
So let me ask you about the, oh, by the way, I got to tell you, the nanotech, to give the Jewish spin on it, they made a deal with Israel.
Yes, they did.
And they're going to have a whole bunch of Jewish scientists coming into Albany.
It's a major project.
So we're going to have a real opportunity to grow the Jewish community in the city of Albany as well as throughout Albany County. So I just thought I'd let you know. Maybe my website might be that roadmap to help them get around when they want to gravitate towards a certain style of service or congregation. So I wanted to ask you about Lawson's Lake.
Yes.
I think what's going on there is absolutely phenomenal. I love camping. And I have friends who don't want to camp in a tent like I like to camp in a tent. So they want a cabin. Yep. So this is what Lawson's Lake.
Why don't you explain it, because I don't even know what this is.
Lake is in the town of Queens, right near the town of Bethlehem, town of Queens.
Correct.
And it's hundreds of acres of land.
432 acres, but who's counting?
That's right. And they have, right?
Yeah.
432 acres. And they have, and they just rehabilitated some of the cabin. They have camps that go there. And now they're going to open it up to the public to go and rent cabins and stuff.
Well, what we're doing is, phase one was, when I was in the legislature, the lake was primarily used by the Boys Club. And when I became county executive in my last year in the legislature, we went to sell the lake for $500,000. I don't know where they came up with that money, but the majority and the Democrats put $500,000 on this piece of property. No one's ever visited it, myself included. Mm-hmm. So when I became county executive, when I was in office for 5 months, I got a letter from the Boys Club saying they can no longer afford transportation, that they weren't going to use the lake. And then when I was doing my state of the county, I was in Voorheesville, and a gentleman said, hey, does the county, are you guys in the park business? And I'm like, no, we're not in the park business. So afterwards, he goes, I don't want to embarrass you. He goes, you have 432 acres. I said, I have to go see this piece of property. And I went out there, and it's beautiful. There's a beautiful lake. It has an upper part and a lower part to it. On the upper part, there's cabins that are could be used for year-round, meeting space. It's incredible. And I sat there and I go, here's a gem, a hidden gem in Albany County that we just let go. I don't know why we did it. So I took a partnership on with the District Attorney, David Soares, and Sheriff Craig Apple. And the three of us put our resources together, and we said, we're going to open up this lake this summer. And we're going to get the kids back out there and using it. So we also did a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. We did it with Catholic Charities and the Gay Pride Center. So we put it all together. And the key to the transportation, we did it with CDTA. I called Carm Brazell up, who's a great guy, and I said, Carm, this is what we need to do. And we put a lot of volunteer hours out there. There's so many different organizations
You and Carm go way back, too. You're personal friends.
Yes, I know. I know them. And then the operating engineers volunteered. The Boys and Girls Scouts volunteered. We had people that were just there that would utilize it, come out and say, hey, we want to help you clean this up. We cleaned it up. We got it opened, and unbeknownst, and this is the first, publicly this will be known this, myself, the district attorney and sheriff, quietly a month and a half ago, it's probably about a month and a half, flew down to D.C., and we went to lobby the Secretary of Interior for this lake. And we met with Senator Gillibrand, Schumer, and Tonko to talk to him about the lake and how we have to do things, because there was a grant we got in 1979 that has all these restrictions to it. So we're looking to get away from all that. But we opened it up. Kids can go there for free. It's a free camp. It's open to the public. You can go through Catholic Charities or through the Boys Club. And you just got to sign, obviously you can't just drop your kid off. We need the emergency contact information, but the bus will take them out there. Right now we're just going from the Boys Club out and back. Next year we would like to add more routes, and not just for the city of Albany, for Cohoes, Watervliet, Green Island, and Queens. So in Colony, and we're talking to Hilltowns, getting Hilltown kids there, and really just bringing that gem back and showing kids there's more to the world than just the inner city, but there's a lot, and take the the kids out in the hill towns, bring them into the city, show them the city life, and vice versa, and all the great things that are going on in the area.
You know, there's the Jewish Girls Retreat, and there's other camps in the Jewish community, and maybe we could.
We would be more than willing to give you space there, Rabbi.
All right,
how's that?
You can have a Jewish camp there.
And that's
your
what
wife, Mrs. Simon, she also has a
little camp over here.
The upper part, and that's what we primarily were thinking about using for the upper part, was for that if different organizations wanted it for a week, they could, they could do it for a week. And we're about partnering, and we know people are having it tough with money all around. So we're talking about partnering, where hey, look, how can we help each other out to get there? And that's what it's about.
All right, great. Now, how many cabins are open, and how many are
there? They're not open on the upper side because we just got the lower part done.
Okay.
The upper side, there's 3 year-round, and there's probably total of 11 cabins up there with bunk beds and stuff like that in there.
So when can I take out one of those cabins?
Well, we have to get it open first, though.
No, timeline?
We're hoping by next year the upper part will be open.
Okay.
That's why we're on a fight with it, and we have Senator Schumer is working hard for us, and Paul Tonko,
right.
Our congressman, is working tough, and Senator Gillibrand. With the 3 of them star powers, I imagine we'll be up and running by next year.
Great. Well, I look forward to camping there and be the first to sign up.
There you go.
There will be a charge, I presume, right?
We're working at. We're talking about how we're going to do different things.
Every campsite charges a little something.
Yeah.
I go up
for maintenance, stuff like that.
Yeah, I go up to the Adirondacks or Lake George or the campgrounds. They just charge us $25 or something,
We're going to figure something out.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, congratulations and kudos
Thank
on
you.
that.
I appreciate that.
You also, one of the stories recently is about an aquarium in downtown Albany.
Yes.
Are you fishy? Are you into this?
No, you know what? When I became county executive when I was chair of the legislature, I stayed away from the topic of the convention center. And, to me, the jury was still out. I wanted to be convinced that this would work here in the capital region. And when I became county executive, I don't think too many people will listen to me initially. I did say, hey, look, I would like to see an aquarium or like a zoo or an IMAX. And I envision kids being dropped off at the Empire State Plaza at the top, visiting the museum and snaking their way down and ending their day either at the zoo or the aquarium, the IMAX theater. And I said that would be a good use because the building, the convention center would be used anywhere, conservatively from 6 to 12 days a year. So I go, this would give use, keep people there visiting. So yeah, I was definitely in favor of that. And but we're switching gears now, as you know.
But you like the aquarium?
Oh yeah, no, I do. I like it.
Because there are other folks who are trying to have a groundswell of support.
Yeah, no, the aquarium. There's look at when I said a zoo and aquarium, I go there is a zoo in
the capital.
Well, I did not say that. I just want to let people know that I did not say that.
Sorry, Dan,
there's an aquarium in Boston, and then the nearest and then the nearest zoo is in Rochester or Utica, and then there's one in Amsterdam, believe it or not. It's a smaller one. It's neat, though. It's a neat place to go. So I said, well, bring something where people from everything we do, and Governor Cuomo's correct. It has to be about the capital region.
Right.
I represent Albany County, and I get that. And Albany County is in my blood, and I'm here to fight for the people. But we have to do it on a regional base because it affects all of us. Our neighbors are right next to us, from Rensselaer County to Schenectady to Saratoga. We have to work together, and I think something like that would work.
This would be where the convention center would be. It's instead of the convention center in the land.
Yeah,
potentially off of Broadway.
Yeah. But now they're looking to move it up closer. We're looking at meeting space that fits. We just announced the DeWitt Hotel.
Yes, the Marriott.
which was Marriott Marquise, I think.
Yes.
Or no, right? Yeah. But it's a beautiful hotel. It's going to be a 200-bed hotel. It's a $48 million project. It's going to generate 100 construction jobs, or 200 construction jobs, and 100 full-time.
That DeWitt Clinton is so beautiful.
The history there.
Where is it? What's the location?
Right on the corner of Eagle and State Street. Right on the corner.
It's been vacant since '06.
Yeah. And the mayor of Albany, former mayor of Albany, now Jerry Jennings, was a bellboy there, from what I understand.
He was a bellboy in his youth. The interesting thing is, it started in 1927.
Yes.
ended in 1975, and then it went to Section 8 up until '06.
Right.
And this is just going to bring another gem in downtown Albany. And we announced the old Elks Club, the 49 Elks, that was around the corner on Wellington Road. We announced a couple weeks ago that AN Nexus is coming in there. I actually helped lobby them out of Glens Falls. Their company's up in Glens Falls. So I went up there, and I got two companies, one out of Saratoga and now one out of Glens Falls, and showing them what we have to offer here, which is great.
Now, the Wellington space where the Wellington Hotel used to be,
correct.
That used to be, the penthouse used to be the Lieutenant Governor's residence.
Yes, it was.
And it was student housing there from the University of Albany. Had student housing when I went to college. So
it's going to be all condos. It's going to be
now.
Well, the AN Nexus company is going to be there, and there's going to be condos. It's going to be mixed use, which is perfect. So that whole corner right down to Lodge where we're at is going to be filled in.
I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, it's been an eyesore for a long time. And through partnerships with Governor Cuomo and Mayor Jennings and myself, it's just it's now coming to a head. And that's why, and this is why I say this and people laugh. I go, Governor Cuomo's talked about partnerships. Now we're showing, hey, look, here's our partnership. We have the private sector investing in. Now let's get the other $67 million, or 63, I think that's left, and let's do the meeting space, or whatever we're going to call it, and finish off this convention center to really draw people here.
Now let's talk about the rail trail a little bit.
Correct, yes.
What would you like to tell us about that, the latest on that?
I got to tell you, the rail trail has been very exciting. When I took office, we had a rail trail that my predecessor purchased. And it just sat there.
That's going right through Delmar?
This goes from the town of New Scotland and through Voorheesville right down to the Port of Albany. And what has happened, it didn't stay open. It didn't get open. So my first year in office, we opened the section between Voorheesville and New Scotland, and then in Bethlehem, we opened that up successfully. And the last major part is coming into the port. So through some grant funding that we applied for, we got a $500,000 grant. We're going to get it open from Bethlehem into Albany, hopefully by 2015. It's not the great rail trail that everyone wanted, but it's opened. And as I said to people, that's the most important thing.
What's a great rail trail? I mean,
well, I think a lot of people want it.
I don't know. I'm asking on a big.
If you've seen the plans initially, it was going to cost a couple $1 million. The money's not there. We're not in a financial situation in the county, but through partnerships.
Explain a little more, because I'm not understanding why.
Well, I say a great one. They wanted it paved. They wanted lighting. They wanted benches. They want the bells and whistles, and which I do too. Eventually,
so there'll be some lighting, but not as much as what they like. It's not going to be in the dark.
No,
no, and you're going to have fewer benches, maybe.
Correct.
And so it'll be something you can.
It will be open where you can hike. You can ride your mountain bike.
Okay.
You can jog, and that's the most important thing.
Right, and then you'll expand.
As time goes on, and we get more money.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what I said to him. I go, look, it's not what you wanted, but sometimes you have to start small and then expand on it.
Right.
And I said, let's take the victory of opening it up, and then once people start enjoying it, they're gonna say, hey, maybe you should do this or help
dedicate some more money or find another grant or something. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
At least get it started.
Yes.
Okay. And we won't. And what do you think of the Jennings Landing at the? Do you think that's an appropriate tribute to the mayor as he leaves?
The mayor's been mayor for 20 years. He's done a lot of good things. I'm not a big one naming buildings after people personally.
Maybe they'll name the rail trail after.
Yeah, I doubt it. But no, it's what. He's done a great job for 20 years. I might have waited till he was out of office and had him come back and dedicate it and let the new mayor do that. But the Common Council made their decision, and they went with it.
That's it. What about veterans? We have Jewish war veterans as part of our community, and there are a lot of veterans in this area, and there's some special issues about veterans that are close to your heart, too.
It is close to my heart. The veteran population, homeless population in Albany County is about 2,000. Roughly it goes from 1,500 to 2,000. And we have 10,000 veterans that make New York State their home every year. Normally, now with the downsizing of the military, you're talking. These are my numbers. I'm predicting this: 20 to 25,000. This nation's never called on its citizen soldier more in this war these last 12 years than the history of us, being existing. So you're going to have a lot of soldiers walking these streets that have issues. A lot of PTSD, a lot of them dependent on medication. And the sad part is that our suicide rate in the military has outweighed the combat deaths in the war. So that's sad. That breaks my heart. So one of the things I did when I became county executive, I go, how can we help these homeless veterans? What can we do differently? So we've done a couple things, some huge initiatives, and we're announcing more. Soldier On up at the Annie Lee home, the old nursing home. We're going to turn that into veteran housing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
That's great. How many units?
There'll be 79 initial, and there'll be more added on from there.
Start somewhere, right?
Yes, correct. It's always starting. You always got to start, Rabbi,
right.
and then you go from there. And then we took our caretaker's house at the nursing home. We turned that over to Soldier On. And we've actually, with nonprofits, with Hattis, and Katie Coates, we did Katie Coates. We got 1,200 coats in 30 days for homeless veterans and homeless people. And Best Cleaners cleaned them all for free. There was legislation that was passed by Schumer and Gillibrand and Congressman Tonko. So we did a partnership with Hattis again at the airport. So if you leave your jacket behind or clothing, and you don't claim it after 30 days, it goes to the homeless, veterans. So we've done some real good initiatives to really do some outreach. I gave more personnel into our veterans office to do more outreach.
You should talk to the folks at Colonial Cleaners.
I will.
They have you know about the folks there?
No.
They have the contract to clean the sheriff's office uniforms.
Oh, did they?
So they
I'll have
should
to
be
talk to
helping to,
have to
and
talk
they
to
have
them.
a sign up that says 30 days. If it's not your clothes isn't claimed, it goes to a charity.
Really?
So you
I'll
should
have to talk to them.
Yes, please.
And I got to tell you, we've actually one of the stories we did today. We had ink cartridges that had been sitting on our shelves for like 15 to 20 years.
Right.
It would have cost us $500 to $1,000 to get rid of. We did an RFQ back in April, and Hattis and actually United Way, the Greater Capital Region, applied for it and said they wanted our ink cartridges. They have a way as a nonprofit, they can sell it, we can't. So we split it up between the two, and they're taking them.
The
two organizations, between
Which two?
Hattis and,
Hattis.
and United Way. So they came and claimed the cartridges that have been sitting on our shelf. So, I'm about green and the environment. So this is awesome. So, and it helps them. And actually Hattis is having homeless people do it. And they're going to let them collect a check for the return on the ink cartridges, which is great.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So can the average everyday public, if they have ink cartridges, can they help and contribute to this? Or?
They can probably talk to the nonprofit organizations. Not so, we can't collect them.
So you can't. Okay.
No, we were just one of the things.
Put a box in front of the county on the basement.
Because we, like I said, they were sitting in our supply room for 15, 20 years because we couldn't get rid of them. We had to pay to get rid of them. It would have cost us $500 to $1,000, like I said. So we saved that money, but we also partnered and helped homeless people, which is awesome.
Okay. Well, that's terrific. So,
yes.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Are there any other final words?
Yeah, we have a bus campaign going on right now with the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Apple, and District Attorney's Office, and myself about prescription drugs and driving. So I say to the viewers, please, when you're on prescription drugs, pay attention. And if you're drinking alcohol, it does have a serotonin effect on your body that will impair your driving even more. So we're doing an awareness campaign to prevent people from taking prescription drugs and driving. So please look out for that.
Yeah, it says right on the bottle, don't operate heavy equipment.
A lot of people read it. Unfortunately, even like when people take NyQuil and you read that and it says don't drive or operate a vehicle or anything for 8 hours after taking this, or 20 hours. People don't read the labels. So please read it.
Thank you for heightening our awareness on that. Thank you.
Yes.
And what else? Do you have anything else to do on?
We have so many things going on.
I know you do. We could do 5 shows.
We could do 5 shows, and we've been doing a lot of consolidation. We've been doing consolidation up in Hilltown since I've last talked to you. I worked an agreement with the town of Bern.
What are you consolidating?
We've actually our highway departments. We had a problem up in the Hilltowns. We cross town roads and we lift our plows and drop them on county roads. They do the same thing. So now they're doing county roads. We're doing town roads. They needed a salt shed. I said, don't build it. Use ours. We saved them $75,000.
Okay.
So there's a lot of great things going out there. The 911 merger.
I don't know. Something tells me that you're going to be running unopposed again if you keep this up.
Well, we got a lot of great things that we're trying to get out to everyone, and it's tough. I can tell you that.
We got to wrap up.
I guess this is our second show with Dan McCoy. We may have to do another one over here. There's so much to talk about. There really is, but we're out of time. And again, I want to thank Dan McCoy, the county executive, of course, my good friend Marc Gronich, and of course, thank the viewers for tuning into the Jewish View. Thank you very much.
Rabbi, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.